them come. This is their fate.
All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Today we're going to be talking about a few things. Last time I didn't go over everything we said we were going to talk about. So this time I'll make sure I go over everything that I state at least. We're going to talk about the Game Awards. We're going to talk about the winners. Talk about the announcements. And we're going to talk about Halo Infinite. If we talk about anything else, we're going to talk about anything else. But right now, that's the three topics we got up lined up for today. Before we get into those topics, as usual, Jalen, Josh, whoever want to go first, please update the people on your current whereabouts or what have you done lately.
I'm smooth. Finals is pretty much wrapping up. I got all my work turned in. I'm good to go. So now it's just 2-3 weeks of vacation.
2-3 weeks of vacation. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, so play some of these video games, relax, catch up on sleep.
Well, that's good. Hopefully the everything went good, smooth with the final and all of that jazz. Well, that's good though. I need some vacation. I'm about to be on that what's that called? That parental leave or whatever. Soon enough. I'm waiting on that to clock in. I'm like, well, it's about that time, but it's gonna be. It ain't gonna be all sunshine and rainbows once that happens.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it's like, but yeah, that'd be interesting. But good to hear. We definitely want to play some of these games that just coming out on Game Pass. Is quite a few. But what about you, Jalen? What you been up to?
Yeah, first off, I ain't never heard Josh say he's smooth. Not using
he
that
did
word.
Say he's smooth. He say he's smooth all the time. What you talking about?
Bro, he like, I'm good. He said smooth. I raised my eyes. I'm looking like, wait, what? Not just fine.
That's that vacation. That's vacation, Josh.
It's a momentous occasion.
Right. That's vacation, Josh. You ain't never seen him like that. He got to cut up. He cut his own hair.
No, I mean, I'm straight though. I just been trying to get the winter break, man. My school. I just looked at my calendar when Josh said he get like 2 or 3 weeks off. I'm looking like, man, I don't go to winter break until after this week. So that means I get like 2 weeks off, bro. I'm sad. I think I got to go back on January 3rd, bro. So, but I mean, it's straight though. Like I'm just trading along, school, hitting that DoorDash. I've been on this Warzone. It's getting kind of surgical. You feel me?
But talk about Warzone, please. Don't taint our podcast with that garbage, man.
But it's been getting me through the days, man. So, but everything good. I'm just same old holiday stuff. So, gotta start some Christmas shopping with the money that I don't have. So.
Yeah. Yep. That's good. A lot of I think we all in like these interesting spaces right now. It's a lot of interesting stuff happening for each and every one of us. So it's cool. But moving forward into some of these topics, mainly the first one I'm interested in talking about is the Game Awards, and I don't know. I mean, did it disappoint? Maybe, but it's 3 hours. I don't think you can really have a great show throughout 3 freaking hours. I literally watched 2.5 hours of it. I missed the first 30 minutes, but after that I was tuned in, and boy, did it take forever. But it was straight. I mean, I think for what it was, what's his name? Jeff Keighley. He's starting to get better at the actual showcase and showing off stuff that people are interested in. Most of the time, every time he has do a award, he had at least 2 world premieres or whatever, So he had a pretty stacked lineup. Obviously, everything's not for everybody, but overall, if you watched it, you probably got something decent out of it. What would you say, Josh, if you watched it?
Yeah, I watched 90% of it.
Yeah.
It was like you say, the world premieres, I feel like most of them were all like stuff that was somewhat interesting to somebody.
Hmm.
Every now and then, they got to sprinkle in like here go a Fortnite trailer for a 5-year-old
Yeah.
game, but
Yes,
um,
sir. Destiny got a trailer.
yeah, uh,
Yeah, another 5 years. That's like 8 years, like something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like you said, I think the award part is always like it's a hard balance to like keep people interested in seeing new stuff, but also, it's still a award show, so people got to go up and get their speeches. But I think it was a pretty decent year. It wasn't nothing I was really disappointed in. It was just too long, like you said. If it was shorter,
Hmm.
it probably would have felt more rounded or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it too. I was just like, too long, but overall, at least I enjoyed, watching it. So some of these, I guess where do we want to start? We want to start with the awards, or do we want to start with the games or stuff that we announced that we was actually interested in? Where would you all like to
I guess
start?
we can go with the awards because I feel like it might be the shortest because it's just whether you agree with it or not. Uh,
Right. I guess let's get the. I really don't care about esports. Esports don't care. None of that stuff. Most anticipated game out of God of War, Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Breath of the Wild sequel, Starfield, or Elden Ring. Which one of y'all? Which one y'all think? And then again, God of War, Forbidden West, Breath of the Wild, Starfield, Elden Ring.
like our opinion.
Which one do you think is the most anticipated? And all those companies, who got the most stands?
Man, it gotta be Elden Ring.
What you think, Jalen?
I'm finna say Zelda.
Yeah, it's Elden Ring. I don't know why. I really don't, because From Software is already a niche type of game, but I guess with Bloodborne it became it became mainstream. But at the same
Yeah,
time, everybody doesn't beat those games. Everybody beat Breath of the Wild. So I really don't understand Elden Ring. Maybe it was just people that was actually voting. But I was like, I don't see how
I
that could
think because
even
Breath of the
beat Breath
Wild
of
is
the Wild.
not it's not real yet. I mean, I know they showed it, but
Yeah.
like they show it once every 2 years. That's not,
But
you know.
Elden Rings was that like last year? Remember it won last year for most anticipated,
Yeah, I
and
don't. I think it might be not like I don't know who votes for it, but it's like I feel like for certain communities, like especially online,
hmm
people really care about Elden Ring, whereas like I don't think it's like a casual game that people actually care about, but for like people on YouTube and Twitch and stuff, I think that is probably the most interesting because
hmm
it's big, it's difficult, people gonna be talking about it for a long time, so.
okay, yeah. It was interesting. I was like, okay, well, I mean, that's fine. I don't really care about where the awards go. I just think of it like from a statistics and like the stands of these communities. I don't think maybe the Nintendo community doesn't watch the Game Awards often. But the best indie debut went to Kena Bridge of Spirits. I'm not sure if y'all even remember this game, but it was like the game where they had a little artsy or a little cute little Pixar like graphics. It was a PlayStation 5 game. I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all remember. It was an indie, but it was me and Karina are currently playing through it. I mean, I don't really the Artful Escape, for Forgotten City, Sable, Valheim. I don't really know none of these other games outside of the Artful Escape. I never played it. It looked
Mhm.
cool, but I would expect Kena to kind of win that one. That was probably the biggest budget one, and it had a
Yeah.
showcase on PlayStation. So Wasn't really no surprise there. Best sports exploration game, Forza Horizon 5. That's really not a surprise either. What was in there? FIFA, F1 2021, Hot Wheels Unleashed. Obviously, this was a slow year. Hot Wheels Unleashed being in there. Riders Republic. I just expected this to already go to Forza. Uh,
Yeah.
Best multiplayer. That was interesting actually, because Back for Blood was in it, which nobody liked. Knockout City, Monster Hunter Rise though, New World, which is that very like popular
It's the
Amazon
Amazon thing.
game, yeah, and Valheim, and then It Takes Two. I don't understand how It Takes Two took it, but I mean, people really liked It Takes Two. And I really liked It Takes Two. I played it with Karina, but I mean, it's a co-op multiplayer versus like a really large open world multiplayer. But I get that Monster Hunter Rise can be played offline, or It Takes Two is literally a multiplayer only game. It Takes
Yeah.
Two, if you don't remember, is that game about the relationships between a man or his wife, him and his wife, and their daughter, and blah blah blah. They got turned into these little puppets, and they had to go around this world and get their feelings or rekindle their relationship in order to save themselves. That was pretty much the premise of It Takes Two, and it was two players, had to play with a partner. Um, that was interesting to be Monster Hunter Rise, but I mean, I guess that's not really the focus of Monster Hunter. I guess the focus is the monsters, but I would still expected New World or Monster Hunter Rise to beat It Takes Two. Um, if y'all jump in if y'all got opinions, I'm just
Yeah.
talking.
I was gonna say that I don't know, I feel New World wouldn't have won because it's kind of mixed. Like I think people
Mixed
that play
reviews.
it like yeah,
Hmm, I didn't know that.
like yeah, it's been a lot about it because it's by Amazon, but they've been have a lot of issues where it's like I think they because there's player trading in the game, but
Mm-hmm.
people find a glitch to like duplicate stuff, so they have to turn off player trading, but then that caused another glitch in which then they had to turn off all money to stop that. So it's
Really?
had a lot of like technical issues. I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
fun the game is, but it's had a lot of technical issues. Um, so and then Monster Hunter, like you said, it does have its like single player component. I can't say it's not based around multiplayer because it is, but I feel like Take Two is at least it's taking multiplayer and like that's its main focus. Without the multiplayer, you couldn't have
Really?
that game.
You ain't
So
gonna have
yeah,
that game, yeah. I think that's kind of why it would win best multiplayer. But if you shoot down the best family, it's fighting juggernauts like Mario Party Superstars, Pokemon Snap, Super Mario 3D World, and It Takes Two wins again. I was surprised
yeah,
by that one again. It's like, so it's already currently got 200 about best family. Obviously, Mario Party, you would think. Pokemon Snap, okay, that's not really family oriented, but it's still a Pokemon game. And then you got Super Mario 3D World. That is super family. So I was just kind of like, It Takes Two winning again. That's interesting. And I think
mhm.
it was definitely um I guess it was just more so. I'm not, like I said, I don't care who won because obviously Mario probably, and these people won multiple times. It's just interesting when you see it compared to these other games that are really a lot more family oriented. That was like a whole relationship game. I don't see nobody playing that with their kids. But Super Mario 3D World, new Pokemon Snap, Mario Party, yeah, that's some kid games. But best
Mhm.
family game, that's the genre. So when I put it to that and I critique it in that way, no, it's not a family game. It is a co-op multiplayer play with your partner game, not a family game. But I guess your partner
Yeah,
is your
but
family,
I
so
would say I feel like it's the best new game on that list because like
Mario
what 3D
Party,
World is a
well,
port.
Super Mario 3D World, yes. I mean, because it was a great game before, it's still a great game now, but maybe it's just not enough, you know? It's
Yeah,
already been decorated.
that new factor because a lot people might already played it,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Especially if you have a family, like that might have been a family game that you picked up already.
Yeah,
And the other games, like I don't know how Pokemon Snap was, but I feel like they're just not. Uh,
that's
I don't know.
popular.
Maybe they didn't stand out. They were good. They're okay. But if it didn't stand out, like
Yeah, you're just taking pictures. You're
I
not
can
really doing
see.
much. People get
Yeah,
tired of that. WarioWare, Get It Together. That was another one that was,
because I feel
that
like
was a
that
best memory.
category will always be won by like games like the what was that fitness game that came out on the Switch like a
Oh, you
year or two
talking
ago?
about Thing Fit Ring or no, not
Yeah,
Ring Fit.
yeah, it's like a party game or a family game that everybody is like talking about, and everybody
Yeah,
trying to get it is all sold out, and
yeah,
it wasn't really nothing in that category this year.
yeah. You're right. You're right on that one. Best fighting game. Demon Slayer. Kami Chronicles, Guilty Gear Strive, Metley Blood, Nickelodeon All Stars. I mean, I'm just saying, y'all. I mean, I don't see no. Well, I guess they can't put Smash up here. And it ain't up here. Virtual Fighter 5. Guilty Gear Strive took it. I have not bought that game. I tried to steer clear from these fighting games, but Guilty Gear Strive was a game I wanted to get for like 30. It just never hit that
Mhm.
price on Black Friday. So I wait for it to drop even further now because at this point I have passed the point where I really interested, but I still want to give it a shot. I would not expect Demon Slayer, another one of those copy and paste Naruto game arenas, to really win, but I mean, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they have a lot of flashy moments and stuff like that. I think Guilty Gear was probably the winner of it all. Metley Blood, or Melty Blood, I don't know nothing about, so I can't really talk to it. For Virtual Fighter 5, I did not expect that to win. It was okay. So, I was already under the impression that Guilty Gear Strive was going to win that category because it was just not nothing in there that was really going to mess with it at all. So,
Yeah.
best role playing game. Um, yeah, this is a little interesting. Cyberpunk 2077, Monster Hunter Rise, Scarlet Nexus, Shin Megami Tensei, and Tales of Arise. The one I have the least amount of knowledge on, one Tales of Arise. I would really, I don't expect Cyberpunk to win just because of the bad press,
Yeah.
and it truly not being a real RPG in my opinion. I think it was a great story, but I don't think it was an RPG. It's not much you can really do to impact the world outside of not, you know, get these characters relationships. It's not much else you
Yeah.
can do really. It's like that story is going to play that story. It wasn't really
Yeah.
big on the RPG element, so I understand it not winning. Shin Megami Tensei, I have know nothing about it, but it's been so hyped that I expect it to kind of wipe everything else. Did you know a little bit more about Shinigami and like
Well,
why it
yeah,
would get overlooked?
it's a for like people who like RPGs, like just leveling up and building a party and stuff like that. It's a really good game. Just like it has all the mechanics that Persona has, where you talk to the enemies and convince them to join your team or give you money and stuff like that. But it's very where Persona has the like high school element where you can like hang out with people and stuff, and you get to know the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Shin Megami Tensei is not about that. It's just about getting strong. What I would say it's very deep where you like all your decisions matter. So like it has like 20 different endings and stuff like that. So it has a lot of RPG elements, but I still think it's pretty niche, especially for like awards. I wouldn't expect it to win.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Scarlet Nexus, I didn't. I wrote
yeah,
that off.
Scarlet Nexus. I feel like it just it didn't really make an impression.
Yeah,
Monster Hunter, it's it is RPG, but not really. So, um,
yeah. So I
saying
guess
yeah, I agree with Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is not really an RPG either. And Tales of Arise, I didn't play it. I played some of the older games, and they were okay, like just like those, decent anime games. But then they kind of fell off for a while. What I hear about this one is that it's at least good combat. Like they really put a lot of time in making the combat fun. I don't know
Hmm.
about the story. The story is probably still super cliche, but it I think it's fair. Like they came back and people enjoyed it. So
Yeah, okay. I just never pay attention to it 'cause I always, I mean, I don't really play those types of games in the first place. I'm playing through something on Stadia right now. It's called YS. It's something.
oh
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was playing through the island one where you get lost on the island. I like the combat a lot. It's pretty interesting. It's not like super deep, so um, I mean, I was just looking for something to play as I sat around the house and I didn't feel like getting on my computer or nothing. So I would just play that while I'm sitting downstairs waiting for Karina or something to finish cooking or whatever she's doing. So I've been playing that, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can look it up more and see if it's something that I'm interested in playing, but more than
Yeah, I would
likely, I was
say,
just playing combat, and if its combat is good and they actually focused on that, maybe it might be something worth checking out.
yeah, I was gonna try it once it's on sale. Cause they're usually long games, and if the story is not like engaging, you might fall off. But at least like I said, the combat seems interesting.
Did that come out on Stadia? I don't know. I don't.
It
No, it did
might have.
not. It's only
Oh, it
Xbox
didn't.
Series X, PlayStation 5, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox
Oh,
One.
okay.
Yeah, it didn't come out on Stadia. I thought I saw it on Stadia, but maybe it was something else. But it don't matter. Okay, it seems
Might
like
be my Game Pass game if it come back
yeah,
or come out on Game Pass.
it just might. But when you get like a nod like that, I don't. Sometimes they just don't do anything like
Yeah.
that. They be like, "They'll come find us." But best action or venture. That character that category was stacked with things that were almost good enough, to in my opinion. Um, Ratchet and
It
Clank.
wa- yeah,
Uh,
that's the one I'm surprised about. They didn't win anything for Ratchet and Clank. They
yeah,
didn't win Family Game. They went well. It wasn't even in Family
it
Game.
wasn't even a Family Game. It was like the categories that they were supposed to win. It was just like nah. But I
Yeah.
think because it cost. I think you know what hurt them. The
Nobody played
cost.
it.
Nobody played it, and the cost of it, and plus it was on the PS5 only, and nobody could. No, yeah, no, yeah. Essentially, nobody could play it, and that $70 price tag really hurt them. Like, I think if they would have kept it at 60 and actually put it on the PS4 or made some type of version for that, it probably would have got the nod for the best action. Metroid Dread, Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy, which just kind of snuck in there at last minute. Psychonauts 2 did the same thing. Resident Evil Village. I really liked Resident Evil Village, but it's just not the game that I would say best action. Over this
Yeah,
group of things, though, the only one that I could say that would really cause a problem would have to be it would have to go still to Ratchet because that was probably the most pristine version of their it was probably the best action adventure game could be where it comes to like gameplay, story, cinematics, and artistic style. Metroid Dread was great, and I haven't finished it yet, but I think there's a
do you
factor
think
of
Ratchet had really good like
from what I was watching
combat?
for them reviews and what I watched when I played on a previous combat. Yes, I did. Unfortunately, only play like an hour and a half of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart because I just bought it because it was
Mhm.
$30. I did not buy it when it was 70. I was like, no, I'll wait, and I just bought it. Play like 2 hours, but I feel like it's still reminiscent of what it was in the past. It was basically
Hmm.
very fluid, very easy going, and you had all these weird, cool gadgets you can use, and then there's things that you use to build off of the world, and then they got these cool rifts that you can float through, and I'm assuming this is the reason why they couldn't, um, run it on the old systems. So I feel like it was the most advancing action adventure because they were trying to push some type of envelope, and then it was also it still has the story seems interesting enough. I think maybe that's probably why I didn't win because the story might not have been the greatest at the end of it, at the end of the day. But Metroid Dread really doesn't have a story. It's literally based off of its action alone. And for it to be a
Hmm.
2D platformer, I can make a case that Resident Evil Village deserved it more, um, because of simply the type of gameplay and the repetitive. It's like it's in that same similar thing where you go through these scenarios and you can either it's like this replayability and it's like feeling of progress or whatever, and you getting new items and going through and solving puzzles. Resident Evil Village had more of a it didn't have like a it didn't have it wasn't as scary as you would want it to be, but it was visually appeasing. It was really well done, and the stuff that you actually went and fought, you didn't feel like you were repeating the same areas over and over again. And I haven't beaten Metroid, so I guess you could talk to about it a little bit more. I just was like, I could probably make a case on why Metroid Dread couldn't have won. It's not like it's definitive. Like it wasn't like I could say this one deserved to win. Like everything else, like best role playing, I could say Cyberpunk no, Scarlet no, Shin Megami Tensei I don't know much about, but I don't think I don't know. And, but this one I was like, I know these games. I think Resident Evil could have won this one easily. What do you think?
I feel like for this category, I wouldn't give it to Resident Evil in the sense where there is combat, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, but a lot of it is also like hiding and stuff like that. So I feel like it's in a weird spot where it should win like a lot of
But you're
categories,
running
but like for
away.
action, yeah, but for action adventure, at least for me, I personally wouldn't even have put it in that category. Maybe
I
just
would have
like,
put a horror or something, horror,
yeah,
survival horror category. But I don't think it
yeah.
had that type of. It didn't have enough of those out to come out to put that into a category like best action adventure. This could have easily have been put into. They could have easily put Deathloop in this too, but they
Well, they have
put
two categories. They got action,
and then oh
for
okay best
and action
action.
adventure. Yeah.
That's weird. Why does it? I don't understand it. Best action slash adventure, then best action, but it's just off of its action alone. But then this one has an adventure tied to it.
Well,
Mm,
or at least on IGN site, they say it's action adventure is combat plus puzzles, whereas action is just combat.
um, okay, well, what do you think? Metroid
Oh, but I was
Dread.
gonna say, I think that Ratchet and Clank is probably the only game that could have you. I feel like you can make a case that should have won. I mean, I haven't played Psychonauts, but I don't think it's really resting on its like combat like that.
No, it's
Uh,
not.
but what I will say is that I've never really played a lot of the Ratchet and Clank games. I played some of them, and I played a lot of games in that genre. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they are fun. But when it comes to like really pushing your skill, I don't
It's
know
nothing
how.
there. Yeah, it's nothing there.
Yeah. Whereas Metroid has really good boss fights, especially as you get further on, you get more abilities. Like
Mm-hmm.
they really start to like, all right, you got to use that parry, and you got to use all these abilities that you got super
Mm-hmm.
quick to keep up. So I feel like strictly combat, I think that's why Metroid wins, uh,
But I
and
think
of
it
course
should
it's a
have been in the best action then, not best action adventure, because it's not really an adventure to me. It just feels like it's action, and you're going through, and you're like I
oh well,
wouldn't.
you explore and
But
Gotta
that's not
find your
it.
way
I don't
through.
know. Maybe, because it's like puzzles too. So it fits the category of an adventure. Your puzzles, you're solving puzzles. You get build ups to explore new areas. It makes sense. I would bank Metroid Dread on just. I would say this is more of an action game than a adventure game. And versus
What I
where I
would
would
say
say,
is that I'm surprised Returnal was separated because they're pretty much the same game, except Returnal is like procedural.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like best action. I would think I would think Deathloop should be in best action adventure, and then Metroid Dread should be with best action. And I still think I would still think Metroid Dread would should have won that by because Far Cry 6 no, Chivalry no, Back for Blood no, Returnal no. I would think if that was flipped, like if I'm the list I'm looking at, like Metroid Dread was down below and Deathloop was up top, you would have a better, category. You would have a better like that would fit better for me. But I don't know. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe something caused it to fit that category more. And Returnal has
I
plenty of
mean, it could
puzzles.
just be not like like stacking your team, just
Hmm.
separating them so they don't have to compete and stuff like that. So
I mean,
that
yeah,
way you
I
can
guess
have
that's
like
true.
Returnal win and Metroid win. Otherwise, because I'm pretty sure they are just the exact same style game, but they
Yeah,
wanted to separate them. Yeah.
I don't think Returnal should have won a reward, to be honest. But that's me. I don't like that game. It was pretty. It wasn't bad. It was just the fact of you couldn't turn it off
Yeah.
unless and that's it's really annoying when you have more stuff to do than just play a game all day. I don't like that fact. Like every other game I was playing had the ability to stop, but it's just this game was just like no, you gotta continue, you gotta give me all your time, and then some of those biomes took forever to get through. So I don't think it should have won a reward, but whatever. That's not me for me to decide. Um, the best action went to Returnal over Deathloop, Far Cry, Chivalry, and Back for Blood. So there's that. Best VR, I really didn't expect Resident Evil to not win. Uh, I think it was a shoe in because it's just Resident Evil in VR. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, innovation and accessibility. Forza Horizon 5 took that one as well. I think it's just more so the customization abilities and all the settings. Best
What
community.
I
Oh,
didn't know is because it has a mode where it slows down time if the game is too fast, but they have like sign language mode where like it's literally somebody on the screen doing sign language. So I think that's why that game won.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. They just throwing out signs the whole time. Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Um, but no, I think that's a cool category to keep pushing toward the forefront because it allows for a lot of those accessibility options to kind of push into other games too. Like, I mean, the other people that was here was The Veil, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Far Cry 6. So some big heavy hitters here. I don't know what The Veil is, but it sounds like these companies are at least trying to get better at the accessibility. So that's always cool. I know last time it was Last of Us 2 that won
Mhm.
because they did a lot of stuff too with their color modes, and I think there was a lot of different things that they did. Um, Best community support. I honestly thought that was going to be Apex, but it was Final Fantasy. Was that 15 or 14? 14. Yeah,
14.
14 online. I should have known. It was honestly Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Final Fantasy, Destiny 2, and Apex, and I was like, maybe Apex now, but no,
Hmm.
it was Final Fantasy still. I don't know what won last year. It might have been Fortnite, but Final Fantasy just got a group of heathens that won't leave the game alone, and they can play it constantly, and they love it, which is fine because there's plenty of ongoing games that don't deserve that type of support that get it, but maybe based off of what you state and what everybody else state, it's worth it's worth it. Best mobile, I don't care. Best
Mm-hmm.
indie, 12 minutes, Death Door, Inscription, Kina's Bridge of Spirits, Loop Hero. Kina won that. I like 12 minutes a lot. I thought it was a pretty cool concept. Um, Death's Door, I never heard of. Inscription, I never heard of. Loop Hero, I never heard of. Have you heard of any of those, Josh?
Loop Hero, no. Death's Door, I think I've seen it. It's kind of like a Dark Souls game where you play as like a crow, I think.
Um,
Um, yeah, I think, like you said, Kina was the standout and had the
Biggest
most
budget.
press
Yeah,
and biggest budget. So,
I was expected to. It was like the biggest. And I don't know if they consider it an indie. I was like, I don't know if I consider this an indie. Maybe because it's a small studio, but y'all really got a big budget behind y'all. So stop playing. But whatever. They swept those indie categories like no other.
yeah.
Um, Games for impact. I don't really know what that category means. I think it's more. I think it might be the LGBTQ or like a minority type because it's like Life is Strange, True Colors, No Longer Home, Chicory, Boyfriend Dungeon, Before Your Eyes. So I'm assuming that might be what that category means, like impact that
Yeah.
way. Life is Strange, True Colors. I did want to play Life is Strange 1 and 2. I haven't gotten around to it, but they seem like pretty cool games. But I just haven't gotten around to them. Life is Strange, True Colors. Uh, got its nod there. So that's that. Maggie won for her lady. I don't know how to say her name, but everybody was going crazy over
Oh,
this
Resident
tall,
Evil. Yeah.
this
She
tall
is tall.
vampire
She.
lady. Yeah, she is tall. So I expected. I was like, okay, so they really just did use her scan because she is a very tall individual. But Maggie won that over Gastel. Anton Castillo, I think is I don't know how to say his name. Unfortunately, Jason Kelly as Colt in Deathloop. Os, I can't Osama. She was Juliana in Deathloop. I don't know these
Uh-huh.
people's names. They tough. But best audio design went to Forza Horizon 5. Ratchet and Clank, Resident Evil Village, Returnal, and Deathloop was in that category, but Forza Horizon 5 won that, and I'm just assuming that's based off of the cars and everything like that. Best original score, or not original score, but best score in music went to Nier Replicant. Have you played Nier before?
I've I watched the playthrough of it a long time ago because it was a PS3 game.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we played Automata.
Mm.
I like the music in it. It's Square Enix always has really good music, so I'm not surprised it won.
Yeah, me neither. Especially with the other stuff that's in it. Artful Escape, I would expect because that kind of game is kind of based around music. But
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't think they had no chance against the Square boys. They love to bring that orchestra in, don't they? Uh, Best art direction, that went to Deathloop. Um, that's pretty interesting, but I think because of how the design of the world is,
Hmm.
that's why they won. I mean, those worlds they were like this mashup of like this of like non. It was like real world meets false world kind of mashup, and it was interesting to see and go through like the worlds and those places because it was kind of like mashed together in a lot
Hmm.
of different areas. But it was pretty cool. I like Deathloop a lot. It's definitely a one time playthrough type of deal for me, but it's meant to be played multiple times. But it's more so to get better at and faster at beating the
Hmm.
loop. Um, but I did like its art direction in Deathloop. The people that they were fighting against was Artful Escape again, Kingdom Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank. Artful Escape been getting snubbed. They was in like 6 categories and they about lost everything. Best narrative. It's surprising here because I haven't gotten through it yet, but I did not expect that to be a strong narrative. It's Square Enix for one, and they usually don't make great. It's not Square Enix. What is that? Crystal Dynamics.
It's Eidos Montreal. I think they did Hitman and Deus Ex.
Yeah, they don't really make like the strongest narratives. So I'm assuming it's based off of a lot of original content from Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. But I mean, it's still cool that they won it. But Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy won Best Narrative over Deathloop, which is kind of tough because Deathloop had.
I feel like they just maybe. I don't want to say like you said, got a lot of Marvel leeway.
Yeah.
And probably got to be creative and do like a fun little side story. Which is good because a lot of those games just end up, just being a copy of what a movie is about. But,
True, and that's what people were surprised about. Is like this very candid, but not like original. It was like original story. So it was Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange, Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Psychonauts 2. So Marvel beat over those as well. Best game direction. Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Best game direction went to Deathloop. I don't see no surprise there. It was probably out of all those games. Psychonauts 2, haven't beaten it yet, but Deathloop had me up all night playing it because it was just like it kept you going in something new. It wasn't like it was slow. It didn't feel like you were wasting your time. And then like this loop function that kind of drove the story. And as you kept playing, you kept learning more and you kept going back and getting more information and why this loop was occurring and all that stuff. And it had like this I need to keep going feel versus everything else in that category just not seen that way. Obviously not Returnal, so that can get out of here. At least that's just me and my hatred for that game. It's not hatred, but it's just like I don't care for it. Psychonauts 2, it really hasn't grabbed me in that way. I like playing the game and I want to see where it goes, but it's not a game where I was like, dang, this is interesting, this is cool, this is happening right now, I need to continue to play it. It was more about the funny, jargon and understanding the characters better, but it wasn't really like something that was holding me on to that game. Same thing with Ratchet and Clank right now. I mean, only played like 2 hours, but it's not like nothing there that's kind of like, ooh, I gotta keep going. Deathloop, like in the first hour, you meet Colt, you see Colt again, you meet him in like the future self, and he come talk to you and say, man, you gotta get up out of here. I'm like, okay, but how are you even in the loop still? So that game had way more, dynamic moving parts than any of the other games that were in that category. So I would expect that to win now. Plus best narrative too. I would expect it to be best narrative, but Marvel got it, so I got to really see why. I got to play it. Got to finish it. But then finally, the final one, which is like I said, this took like 40 minutes. Game of the year. And this is a funny one. But I played it all the way through, so there's that. But it was Resident Evil Village, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, Deathloop, and It Takes Two. Jalen, which one do you think won?
Hold on, say it one more time.
Resident Evil Village, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, Deathloop, and It Takes Two.
Psychonauts.
Nope. And which is crazy. I would not expect it at all. But it was It Takes Two. That was that was the game me and Karina played through about the relationships. It beat Metroid Dread. It beat Deathloop. It beat Resident Evil Village. I was really surprised by this. And I was surprised by it because that game really had to. It really was more about the. It was really more about the gameplay than anything. I mean, the story was okay. It wasn't like the greatest, and it wasn't like really, life changing. It was just about. It was about relationships, and I think more people resonated with playing with their partner. Like plenty of times, me and Karina would be like, I would like Karina, please get this right. You gotta actually jump over this thing, and like we would sit there for like 14 minutes while she just tried to platform over something. I'm not taking your control. I'm not helping you. Just do it. So it was like these situations, and then we would laugh about stuff because I was like, come on. And then I would fail at things. So I think it was more about the stuff that you were doing with your partner, whoever you played it with. And I think that was probably the most interesting part of that game. But everything else was pretty standard. It wasn't like something that really blew me away. And maybe the lineup wasn't that great, or maybe people just resonated with that way more. Why do you think this game won, Josh?
Like you said, I think it's more about the social element. People were able to play this game with somebody, and I mean, honestly, there are not a lot of split screen co-op games right now. But I mean, that's what they're good at. What's their last game they did, the prison one.
Yeah, A Way Out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like as long as you can get two people in the room to play the game and have fun, like it might have a better impression. Whereas like Deathloop and stuff, it kind of always depend on like, did you even understand the story
The
and all
concept, the
this extra
why.
stuff? Yeah. So I don't know, but like you said, I feel like maybe also the games that it went up against were not just the biggest mind blowing games ever too. So it was this year. They swept through a lot of rewards.
Yeah, they got three. They got three of them things. That was interesting. I was like, I'm happy for the guy because I like the guy because of simply his antics off screen. I was like, okay, he pretty cool. So him winning that, it just was like, wow, okay. You're it's like an indie. It's not like a real large studio. It's like an indie studio. It's like EA Originals. That's like their indie thing, So
Yeah.
so for that game to kind of win Game of the Year, it kind of gives a lot of hope for people that's like making these indie games. That indie games aren't dead. People can actually make games that are tailored to a certain thing, and you don't have to lose. Like, you don't have to have a big budget behind you, obviously. But I could have said the same thing for Metroid Dread winning. It's not a big budget behind Metroid, in my opinion. I think they
Uh, I
no,
mean, I liked it a lot, and it's probably
but it's not a
one
big
of the better
budget.
Metroid games. But it's not like I wouldn't say it's the game of the year.
No, but I'm saying just to be in the content, like be a contender. I'm saying if that was to be a contender, I don't think Metroid Dread should have won. I'm saying if Metroid, well, never mind because it's like name value. It Takes Two has no name value. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't have any old history. It's literally a new IP, and it had to stand on its own. And for it to stand on its
Yeah.
own and win, that kind of makes it even a bigger deal than what any of the other games winning. So actually,
Hmm.
I appreciate it being there, but I'm just surprised that it happened. I'm surprised that it happened this year. I'm surprised that it actually won over everything else that was kind of in that category. But hey, hats off to it. I actually enjoyed the game. I had a lot of fun playing with Karina. I would never play another game like that with Karina because she can't play them.
Hmm.
But it was fun to experience it and get through that entire game. Cause it's like 15 hours, like 16 or so hours of gaming, and it kind of ballooned because the skill level, but after a while, like, and that's what that's what really made me mad because I was like, Karina, you literally beat Breath of the Wild by yourself. How are you not good at platforming by now? I don't understand it, but she still was like incapable of doing it. So it was just it pushed her to be a better gamer at the end of the day. So it was just fun playing with her, but. I have more memories playing that game than any of the other ones, and that's important too. It's just because of actually playing it with somebody else the entire way through. So I think that kind of factored in, and I could actually see why now it would win Game of the Year if it ever got into that category, because people had to really think about it. And like, okay, first off, it got here, but why? And probably when they started remembering why it got there and why they played it and why they enjoyed it, it probably couldn't be matched by any other game in the category. So that makes sense. But yeah, that was a lot of topic. But it was again just going over all of the games for this year because honestly, we're not going to do like a 2021 recap. This is the best way for us to kind of give you guys all the information about all the games that recently came out and kind of sum it up in a nice little way because I'm not going to do that research. Josh's not going to do that research. Jalen definitely not going to do that research. So this is the best way to get it. So appreciate y'all sticking around for it. All right, the next thing we wanted to talk about was the actual announcements that came from it. And I'm not finna go through everything because it was a lot. But it was some things that bubbled up to the top as usual that I wanted to speak on. And one thing that I guess I can go with first with one thing that I really was like happy to see. And then something that was like kind of wacky that I was like interested in see more of. And then I kind of let you, if you got anything, Josh, that you really enjoyed that you can talk about. The first thing, and this was wacky, but I don't care. As soon as I saw it, I said, "Oh, that might be actually tight." So it's Among Us VR, and and it's virtual reality Among Us, and I was like, "Well, how that's gonna work?" So as soon as I saw it, so many questions popped into my head because I was like, I liked Among Us, and I liked the social aspect of it. I was like, how is that going to work in VR? How you going to sneak up behind people? How you going to, obviously you can do your task and you can almost get got it. But like trying to get away from people and all that stuff, I just think it's going to be a lot funnier if it's in VR. So that was something that I was like, dang, that might actually be tight. Obviously, Among Us has died down a little bit in regards to like people actually playing it and talking about it and all that stuff. Just like every other game that come out. Remember Fall Guys? Nobody remembers Fall Guys. But they got an expansion coming out with like Nightmare Before Christmas, and I was like, why? Why are y'all doing that? But y'all really
Fall Guys lit.
You please still playing Fall Guys?
Man, I make sure I don't delete that mug, bro. That's one game that I keep on there. Fall Guys lit.
He keep on Fall Guys. Oh my god.
I still be playing Among Us too.
You still, yeah, but that's not like, I'm not saying that they not irrelevant.
No,
I'm just saying they're not as big as they were when, like every time you looked around, somebody was either playing it or talking about it or whatever. So,
yeah, I know what you're saying. I was just talking.
But, yeah, VR.
Yeah, I think the VR version is good, especially for people like Jalen who still play it, but are probably like you've been playing it for what, almost a year and a half, 2 years? So you know all the maps, you know the meta and how people are when they lie and stuff like that. So changing the perspective, like you can't just hide in the corner and like peek and see who around and stuff like that. It's gonna be a big difference to it, and it's probably gonna be harder or like more engaging. Yeah.
So that was something that I was like, oh yeah, definitely want to try out. I mean, I got my Oculus, but I don't know if everybody want to log into Facebook, but we'll see. We'll see. The one thing that was like, it might be.
But you got to have a PC. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably a tough bill. And some people, I mean, you can't do that phone thing with Samsung. I think the Samsung still do it. I don't know, but we'll see how that kind of implement and what they do with that. Uh, but and the one thing that I was like, I want to see more of, and I got real excited about, was the Wonder Woman game. Um, it's Wonder Woman. I'm like, why wouldn't I want to play that type of game? I forget who is. I think it's people
It's
that made
monolith.
Monolith. Yeah, Monolith. People that made Shadow of War and stuff. They're making it. They're not the greatest at stories, but um, we'll see. I mean, they got stuff plenty to play with. All I need to do is figure out the combat. They stole the combat from Batman. I would rather them, implement it in a better way. So let's see what they do. Obviously, this
Go ahead,
WB.
steal the combat from God of War, and you're good.
Exactly. Do something where y'all. I just want to play with Wonder Woman. I think it'd be really cool to run around the world as Wonder Woman. So, that's something I'm interested in seeing more. But I guess I'll let you, Josh. What was something that you saw or announced or something that you was like, yeah, I definitely want to get more information on, or at least was excited about.
Um, well, I mean, I like the idea of a Wonder Woman game, but for me, it's a wait and see because I feel like
Well, just like Wolverine, I'm like, I'm sold. I don't care what you're talking
yeah.
about.
I mean, well, yeah, that's Insomniac, so I feel like they
Oh
can't
yeah, yeah,
really
yeah, yeah,
mess it up. But
yeah,
they messed up games before. Like Arkham
yeah. They
Knight was
had,
supposed to be tight, and it was all right. So
yeah, it was, and but that was supposed to be Rocksteady coming back, and I was like, well, Arkham Knight still had good combat, still was like really pushing the systems at the time, and it had like it had that going for it, but the story was just like meh. So I was like, what's going on with
yeah.
y'all stories? I mean, it's like when y'all lost the Joker, y'all lost y'all essence. So I was like, what is that? But
Yeah. But I guess for me, the biggest one that I liked what they showed and I'm looking forward to the game is Hellblade. Um, because I played the first one
mm-hmm.
last year and I didn't expect to like really like it because I don't really like the developers like past games like DMC and stuff.
Yeah, Ninja
But
Theory.
it's
Mm-hmm.
really good. Like I really like the story and how they really I guess the cutscenes are really, really well directed. Like you really
Mm-hmm.
feel like what she's going through and like understand the situation. And I feel like it's an interesting setting. Like obviously it's really really dark, but they do a good job of making it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And they had their little demo. Like I don't know where it takes place or anything like that, but it seems like they're gonna continue to push the envelope like
Yeah.
graphically and what they're doing with like acting. So I'm excited to play it, and it's gonna be on Game Pass, so you ain't got to worry about like the game being because a lot of people weren't happy with the first game being short. I think it was like what $30 or something, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it seems like a really good game.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was really interested, and I was like, I don't know what's CGI, what's gameplay, because it was kind of like morphing together, and then it was like
That's
it
the
was
only game like they always will like try to trick you with trailers, but I feel like that's the only game where I actually believe it.
yeah,
Because it is Unreal Engine 5. The first game looked really, really good. Like almost the gameplay was almost as good as the cutscene. So I feel like they could do it.
yeah,
But
push
yeah,
it.
it was a lot of moving the camera and like not really understanding the whole of the
Yeah.
gameplay. But yeah.
No, yeah, and that's what I was like. Uh, it, and that's where I was kind of like, I don't know. And that's same thing that happened with which I don't even think I mentioned. We was gonna talk about this Matrix Awakens. At least until it got to the point where you could do stuff. But we gonna talk about that a little bit later, if we get
Mhm.
to it. But the one thing that I was like, also, it was two more things for me. It was Suicide Squad killed Justice League. It looked really good. It just looked like the world seemed fun to just run around in, and I feel like they
Yeah.
actually nailed and this is Rocksteady, so this is Rocksteady again. At least they sound like they nailed the banter and the characters. At least they. I don't know if the story gonna be lit, but at least they feel like these characters are themselves. They are the characters within the game, and they play off of that really well. And it sounds like they are putting effort into story again. Obviously, Kill the Justice League is a cool concept on its own. So I think they have plenty to get right, and they don't have much to get wrong. But people can always mess up. People always can fail. So hopefully they don't. They showed a lot of gameplay on that one, and it all looked pretty good. It looked like it was running well.
The movement looked fine.
Yeah, it looked like it actually had decent animation. So it didn't look like non-fluid gameplay. So hopefully everything still runs well, looks well as they continue to push out and let us know, when it gets closer to the release date. I don't expect it to come out in 2022, but that's what they say. Lies, biggest lies ever told. But until they actually move forward, I guess I gotta respect what they say. Honestly, I got more interested in Forspoken. I was writing that off. I was like, this looks stupid. But it seemed like they trying. I was like, well, I thought that was gonna be a throwaway game, and I was like, why y'all doing mocap for all this crap? Why y'all bringing in people that's actually actors for this crap? Because it seemed like a throwaway game, like for real. It looked like Godfall. It was reminding me of Godfall when they were showing it. Like it was just like this game that they wanted to show off how the engine can look. It really didn't seem like it was going to be a game that was really well told or had a story, but there's like elements to it. I was like, hold up. They actually bringing people in. Hold up. They actually got storylines going. They actually got people talking to one another. I thought she was going to just be in this world by herself, not doing nothing. It seemed like they're trying to build out the game. I just don't want it to feel pre-built. Like the world doesn't have any real character to it. It's like they found a world. They said, okay, this is the foundation. Now let's make a story, but this world trash. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Now I'm worried about that part. Like what in the world is going to make it feel like a real open world, real living world outside of your powers and just fighting enemies in it. It doesn't seem like that's there yet. It just seemed like, okay, you actually going to have a story. That's good. Let's continue to build on what that story may entail and give us a little bit more insight on what you're actually going to be doing in the world now. Because what it seemed like, you're doing a lot of flashy junk in an empty world, which is fine. That's fine for some people. I'm overplaying games like that, so I would rather them, give a little bit more than what they're currently giving now. So, yeah, I'm interested, but I'm still reserved on that as well.
Yeah, it's a wait and see for me. Like, it reminds me too much of 15, and I don't like that game. Like you said, big empty world. Throwing your sword around, teleporting, jumping on top of trees, but I need more than that.
Yeah, you take off and you get clipped by a light and you dead. That was hilarious. You getting killed by street lights because it's so static. That's a static world for real.
Man, don't talk about my pain, man. I lost like 2 hours I think it was like 2 hours of playtime, bro. Dying by a street light when I accidentally took my car into the flight mode, and I'm like, bro, I did not do that. So I'm like, all right, man, bro, I really crashed, and I'm just looking like, dude, I didn't even know you can die by this method in here, and I'm just like, bro, this is goofy.
I did not do
my bad,
this.
I just got triggered, bro. Dude, I had just went for that pity y'all said ever, that little puzzle cavern thingy, man. I'm like, when I really got in my car, I was like, man, I thought it auto-saved. That mug just took flight. And I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And next thing you know, I died from a street light. I'm just looking like, Dog, I know. I just know the game did not. I just know I'm good. I just know the game saved because that's what good games do. They save. They read your mind and they save. That month did not save, bro. And I died from it. I really died from a street light of all things. It'd be different if a behemoth came and got me, or I went into something crazy. No, a street light, bro.
A street
The
light.
car touched the street pole and died.
Man,
All right, I'm done.
That's a
your
static
car
world.
when somebody get in the car and they put it in full speed while they in reverse.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I was like, static worlds, man. I don't know. I can't trust him. But
that didn't make
yeah.
sense though. But anywho, I'm off my soapbox, man. I was just hurt by that, bro. I got triggered again.
Man, you can get back on. They got a game built just for you. What's it called? Sonic Frontier?
Oh, Sonic Frontiers. Yeah.
Hey, that game finna be tight, ain't it?
Oh my god! You saw that? Did you see the trailer?
Man, you know I be looking at Sonic. I'm hip with Sonic. Bro. I'm like, man, I hope they make this game good. I don't know how they gonna do it, nor can I envision it, because it ain't no way in the world you can make an open world Sonic game and incorporate all the aspects of his speed and make it fun and stuff like that. But I mean, if there's Sonic in it, I'm wishful for it, man. Just don't do it like Sonic Forces.
Let me just tell you one thing. It's on the Switch. Don't get your hopes up.
It's on other stuff too.
It's on the Xbox One.
Oh, they're gonna release the Switch version later, and that's gonna be like how they did the Final Fantasy 15, how they put that on the Switch too.
I can see if that mug said PlayStation 5, XPC, and Series X. Then I respect it, and I'll be like, okay, they might be doing something. So
it's a PS4 game. Okay,
it's a PS4 game. It's a Switch game. I was like, no, it's gonna be some boo boo.
It's just a light version they're gonna put on the Switch, man. They gonna put the better version on the Xbox, PC, and PlayStation.
Man, that ain't how that works. You know, Sonic don't do that. When you ever see those Sega players spend some real money, they don't do that.
Man, they gonna change. They changing the culture, man. Believe me. I talked to Mr. Yuji, the old president, Mr. Yuji Naka himself.
Yeah, sure, bro.
Mr. Yuji Naka said they changing stuff, bro. I believe him.
Sure, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. Who is Yuji Naka, the president of the Sonic team? Yeah, man. Man, Mr. Yuji Naka said it's gonna be all right.
He said his name. He don't even know you. He said none of that.
Man, Mr. Yuji Naka, he said it's gonna be all right, bro. I don't even know his name because they said him in Shadow the Hedgehog, but y'all don't need to know that though.
Yeah.
It's a little cameo.
But it's like you can't really tell enough from the trailer other than it's a big world. But I mean, this is everybody time to try to put it in the Breath of the Wild format and see if it worked. It could, so we'll see. But
like belief
they ain't got a good track record with 3D Sonic games. So
no sirree, Bob. But
man, it's never gonna be a good track with Sonic 3D games because Sonic fans is toxic.
I mean, yeah, that's true. You can't please everybody. Everybody want Adventure 3, and then they come out and you're like, oh, we wanted colors too, but
then they want 2D Sonic games where they can time attack, get rank 8. Like, man, Sonic fans is toxic, bro. It took me a long time to realize that there's just a whole bunch of controversy between them.
The Sonic Hedgehog 2 movie, they had like a little extra. They had like another trailer that came out during the thing too. But the biggest, I guess, the other thing that I was like, I think I said it's Forspoken, and then it was Forspoken, and it was something else that I wanted to mention. But did I mention it?
Alan Wake.
Yeah, Alan Wake 2. It's their first survival horror game from Remedy. I was playing Control.
Oh, it's survival horror?
Yeah, survival horror. And I was playing Control again, and I was like, man, they really stepped up their game from Control. Well, not from Control, from Quantum Break. So I was like, I feel like they could pull it off, especially with the horror stuff surrounding, like, Remedy. Control was not a horror game, but it felt like it had horror elements. And I went through and played it again like 2 weeks ago, because it's not a long game if you know what you're doing. It's not a long game at all. But uh, I went through it and I was like, dang, this junk is actually really good. It's fun to play. It's very, very quickly paced, and it has the right amount of stuff in it. So I was like, okay, let's see what y'all do with the survival horror franchise. And plus, it's Alan Wake. I really enjoyed first Alan Wake. And it had elements. Control had elements of Alan Wake's story in it, and they talked about it. And I never played the DLC though. I need to play it, but yeah, it's like, when you go through that and you see it, I just feel like it's time for me to it's time for them to step up to the occasion. I really enjoy survival horror games, and I haven't had a really good one. I still don't consider. I guess it is survival horror. Resident Evil Village was survival horror. I just played it on a difficulty that maybe I needed to put it up a little, where I felt like I was out of ammo or not enough or resources were low. I just didn't feel that way. I felt like I was ready to bang anything that's in that game. So most of the time it was just me running around solving puzzles, and it didn't feel like I was like, oh man, if I miss this shot, I'm gone. If I don't find nothing else, I'm gone, or something like that. And there was not really that many moments like that, and I enjoyed that a little bit more this time around because I'm getting older, I guess. I'm tired of struggling with games for a long time. But I would expect them to be able to kind of put a new spin on survival horror. So, Evil Within 2 were probably the last ones that were like true survival horrors in my opinion. At least that I played. I'm pretty sure there's plenty that came out. I just haven't played them. But I'm hopeful. That's what I'll say. I'm hopeful that they can pull it off. I trust Remedy now. After Control, they got a little faith. I put a little faith in them, but I still remember Quantum Break, and that was pretty pathetic. But a lot of what they built on in Quantum Break, they perfected in Control. So we'll see.
Yeah, they can still disappoint you. They got Crossfire coming out in February.
Oh yeah. I don't know,
feel
man.
like
It look good though.
I mean, I feel like the story gonna be trash, but I think they can do the combat well, so I want to at least play it.
Yeah, I mean it's coming on Game Pass too, right?
Yeah.
It's February 10th, so a lot of games coming out in that first 2 months of the next year. So,
But
yeah.
that was pretty much all the announcements, other than like trailers for stuff we seen.
Yeah, I
like-
mean, there was really Arc Raiders was the new Dice game. I don't trust them no more, so I wasn't paying attention to it. The Lord of the Rings Gollum cinematic trailer, there was no gameplay. I still don't care about it until I actually see something about it. And plus, I'm not that big on Lord of the Rings, so don't really care. Halo got a TV show.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Man, they need to. This Halo stuff is annoying, bro. I'm so sick of Halo. I swear I'm so sick of Halo, dog. I just had to say that. Like, I'm tired of them. Okay, continue.
I was gonna say at least they can put their good shots in the trailer, but it looks good budget wise. So
Yeah, it looks feel like it's not low budget. It don't look low budget. It look like
I don't care. Low budget, high budget. If it got Halo on, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, why not?
Because man, if you've been in this Halo war for so long, we talking 10 years, bro, and they still. I'm like, bro, what else do y'all got to talk about, man? Y'all keep making up stuff. Y'all making all these games. Halo start off as a game, and then it's the backbone of Microsoft. They're like, hey, man, we need some more money, bro. Hey, we still got the Halo in your back pocket, man. You know what to do with that, bro. Go make up some stuff real quick, bro. Go make it up. Oh yeah, we talked about him. Oh yeah, we did mention that random dude in Halo 1 that was putting a book on there, but he said something funny. Yeah, actually, we finna make that Master Chief cousin. Do it right now. And now he finna had his long backstory and all this type. Man, bro, they be That's my soapbox on Halo, bro. They just will not let that game be a game and let it go. They keep writing stuff and will not stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Listen.
I've been playing Halo for X, bro. I'm tired of it. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I used
Oh
to
my
love
god,
Halo.
this man
Halo
got
Waypoint.
triggered. You hear this guy?
You right, I'm
Trigger
triggered. I'm
man.
about to digress. Go ahead. I'm done.
Man, it's a good segue. I see you working on your segue game, Jalen, because we got the Halo campaign came out last week, and we played the multiplayer finally. So what you think of that Halo, Jalen?
And I'm gonna be completely honest. I admire how Halo stuck to his roots. The fact that I could pick up a Halo game and feel like I just started playing off of muscle memory from what I had did previously. I feel like that itself shows that my body, like I just realized I'm playing a Halo game. Like I'm tapping RB to do a melee and stuff like that. I had to go change my controls because that's not the regular melee and stuff. So I'm like, but basically what I'm saying is I think it's good that they made it like Halo. They didn't compromise themselves too much. I know what Halo 5 is a little bit of, like people had their little gripes and stuff about it, but they tried to bring it back to the simplistic form and then still making it like a newer game. I think that itself is good. But I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I played Halo before, man. I can't say I'm too pleased about. Not too pleased. I can't say I'm impressed for real. For real. Like I think it's a nice Halo game. It looks clean, all that type of stuff. But I mean, it's Halo at the end of the day. Like I played it. The thing that made Halo for real cold was the custom games in it, and they ain't got that right again since Halo 3. So back when people had to glitch the maps and stuff to make the games tight.
Okay. So Halo, yeah, and he come out swinging as usual. So we did get a chance to. I think we already talked about it though. Me and you, Josh, we had our opinion. Like when I initially played it, I was like, "It's an arena shooter. I'm fine with it. It's arena shooter. I'm fine with it. I play it for a little bit, but I ain't gonna play it that much." What really like got me invested in playing it more was playing people that were better than me, and then also just getting familiar with the combat in general and like all the weapons, and just having those, having out those fun outplay moments. It's 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 my new experience of Halo versus you guys' old experience of Halo. My previous experience of Halo was Halo 5. Halo 4, 3, 2, 1 did not play. So it wasn't like I played that stuff, all that. So my new experience with Halo is probably your previous experience where y'all like enjoying learning new weapons. You're starting to see the benefits of sticking with the team, starting to see the benefits of running on a Warhawk with the flag, starting to see the benefits of finessing like and capturing a corner and keeping that corner locked down. The maps seem real fun and well placed. The objectives are easy to understand and to get through to your head. Basically, that's what you got to do, and then it's just overall really solid shooting gunplay. So those things on top of it made me want to play it more. Obviously, it was a game that you enjoyed as well, Josh. So it was something that was like, okay, we can play this together because I actually like aspects of it, and it's not just Apex. But yeah, I mean, I agree with what Jalen is saying as well. It's Halo. It's an arena shooter. Agreed. But it's more about I would play that over a lot of other games. I'll play that over you know, I appreciate when people put effort into something to make it better. I don't appreciate when people put effort into a game that's not really beneficial or really interesting or even like well crafted. There's a lot of, I haven't run into a lot of cheaters in like Halo. I haven't run into a lot of, weird glitches. I haven't been shot around a wall. I haven't been like when that stuff's solid it's fun to play because you don't have to deal with that. Obviously, there's microtransactions and there's the battle pass and things like that that they have to fix on. But when it becomes to the core gameplay, and there's like not a lot of that, crap running amok in the game. It's a fun experience from that point of view. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I can continue to
It's
play it because of that, and I can continue to enjoy it for those reasons. No, it's
yeah,
not
it
something.
feels pretty I guess clean. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't it has its issues like you said, but like just for it to launch and feel balanced and fun and refreshing is kind of like yeah, it's still at the end of the day it's still a Halo game. Like I said when I played it like the first beta, it was like it's fun, but anybody that doesn't like Halo or is tired of Halo is it
not
might not
gonna. Yeah,
change your mind, but I think for me compared to all the other shooters out like I hate playing Crucible right now in Destiny, and it's a lot of different reasons. Part of that is balance, and then like how many weapons it is, and then how the community plays. Like people slide camping
yeah,
around corners and stuff like that. Whereas like when you jump into this game, it feels even though it's Halo, it feels like a pretty clean game that I can just pick up and like I can just play for fun, and I'm just play all day just because it's just fun to hop on.
yeah.
Um,
It's not a battle royale, which that has their own gripes. Not saying that the games that we play in battle royale are bad. I'm just saying battle royales
Yeah,
have their
battle
own issues.
royale. It's just. I mean, it's the more popular genre now, but you can't always play battle royale. Sometimes you get tired of it. So,
Yeah, true.
it's just a good multiplayer shooter. And yeah, it's fun. I mean, I've never gotten tired of. Well, I guess I did get tired of Halo after Reach, but I feel like so far this game has been addictive enough to. I see myself playing it for a while.
As long as they continue to add more stuff,
And I like
more,
it at
more.
least because it's a shooter I can play by myself. I mean, I'll play
Yeah,
with you, but it also feels like a game I can play by myself because like playing Destiny or Apex, they're mostly multiplayer games where you need your party, go do the nightfall, blah blah blah. But you ain't got to worry about that. You just hop on and play.
Yeah,
agreed.
Halo, cool. Like you said, if you played it a lot already and stuff like that, they not reinventing the wheel. They not bringing anything like super groundbreaking, but it's just like a clean, refresh feel of Halo. But like I said, I think I think if they can, I don't know if they got custom games and people still do that. I think if they can nail that, that would be like something that would be like a huge selling point for it. But um, I don't know. We'll see. I
Mhm.
see what they do in the future and stuff like that. I was never like a huge Halo multiplayer fan. I think I reached the peak of multiplayer with Halo and Reach and Halo 3. I was mainly playing custom games and Halo 2. I used to play the multiplayer a little bit, but I mean, I was a little bit younger at the time and not had like a full grasp of online gaming at all. So,
Mhm.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I mean that's really the biggest selling point for me on Halo is Halo wins because 2042 failed. I'm not playing Call of Duty and Destiny is a no go at this point. So Halo wins off of that, but it's also still a good game. So it's not like I feel bad wasting time in it. I don't feel bad wasting time in it. I don't feel bad that I'm essentially playing four objective maps or four objective games or whatever you want to call them. Whereas eyeball, Slayer, capture the flag, and then capture the point. So I'm having fun playing those, and it's given that fix of getting more kills in an arena based shooter versus playing battle royale. Yes, I can get a decent amount of wins, but at some point you're gonna realize you just most of the time you're running around the map and you have to. I don't. Sometimes you get tired of just running around the map. That's all. So it's a balance. Obviously, we wouldn't have been playing Apex if it didn't keep fresh. If we didn't have new characters, if it didn't have new maps, if it didn't have new things to do, new things to battle up against. So as long as Halo continues to do that, there's no way that they can lose. They have a foundation that's solid. It's just really now keeping people interested continuously throughout. It's infinite, so no pun intended, but they have to continue to elevate and continue to move forward. Then there's some games that people play and they don't do much different, but people still play it. So what I mean. I don't know. No, I ain't gonna name no names, but we know who they are. We know where they be.
You talking about the one that released the same game every year?
Interesting
enough. Up, boy, you on the air.
Interesting enough, PUBG just finally went free to play. PUBG finally went free to play, so that's interesting. I don't know for who.
Speak up, you on the air.
What you mean? What you talking about?
We getting on Vanguard, Jalen.
Man, I ain't touching that game.
Oh my god!
I ain't touching Vanguard. Actually, about Warzone now.
I ain't said nothing about no Warzone. What did I say? I said games that continuously do the same thing. Warzone ain't doing the same thing. Is they? Are they doing the same thing? I don't know. You tell me. No. But anyways, yeah. So overall, Halo Infinite's multiplayer seems really good. Halo Infinite's campaign, it's a little pain there. I like it. I don't like the open world. I really don't. I was like, I would rather just play missions and I'd rather get a good story. I don't like the open world. When I got to it, I was like, man, why am I playing Far Cry? I don't want to play Far Cry. So, I don't really like the campaign. I don't think I'm going to finish it unless there's a way to bypass that part.
The main thing is that it's optional. As long as you do the big pieces.
Yes. Most of the big pieces, I just don't like having to go through it and drive around. And that terrain is not built for me to go through that Warthog I was like, what the heck am I playing right now? I was like, I'd rather just grapple everywhere. So I was grappling everywhere. And I just got tired of grappling everywhere. And it's not like a super large map. But every time I opened up the map and I saw the extra areas that I was going to eventually unlock, I just got tired. And I was like, no, I'm not doing this. So I'm not saying that the game... The campaign overall is bad. I'm saying I don't want to play open world right now, so I'm just not. And I can do it in an RPG because most of the time you're running around, you're battling things, and it's not as bad. And most of the time they funnel you through stuff. They don't make you they consider it an open world map, but really it's just a bunch of tunnels connected. and this is like a genuine open world, and I don't know if I want to run around and do bases. And I'm playing on heroic, and them fools is giving me trouble. And I was like, I'm not dropping it. I was gonna play on regular, the hardest one. And I was like, I'm not gonna kill myself.
Oh, legendary?
So
no.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm just playing on heroic. And I never played a Halo game throughout. So I was thinking, okay, let me just try heroic because I want to get better at the combat. I want to be able to move around and, move out of stuff. And maybe if it's more challenging, I have more fun with it. It's fine. I'm getting through the stuff. I just don't like the aspect of open world right now. And maybe at some point down the line, I can come back to it and I'll be like, yeah, this is great. But I guess, how do you feel about the open world parts, Josh? Or have you gotten to that point yet?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of it. I'm on the third island.
Okay.
I agree. The open world is probably the weaker part of the game because, like you said, it's a bigger map, and really the only way to get around until you unlock flying vehicles is to grapple or hopping your little mongoose.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it a lot where I enjoy it, but I think that's because of the actual abilities you
Combat.
have.
Yeah.
Like the grapple hook, I think is I won't say like a game changer, but if it didn't have the grapple hook, this game would not be good, really.
Yeah.
But like you going into a base and like traditionally in like a Far Cry, all right, you about to drive up in there with your car, you're gonna shoot a couple rockets, blow up the base.
Hmm.
But at least in this game, I feel like, oh well, actually I can just literally get on top of the base just by grapple hooking and then like snipe people or whatever. And it's been fun just being creative, but it's
Yeah.
not like Breath of the Wild because like Breath of the Wild has like every 10 feet is something interesting to explore. Like you
Yeah.
find the Korok Sea, or it's a little dungeon, or it's a little puzzle.
Hmm.
Whereas like most open world games, in between bases is nothing in between the bases, and that's kind of the issue here. Is like
Yeah.
you save a couple Marines, and now you gonna drive for a couple
To
minutes to get to the next
another
base.
space to save more couple Marines. I was
Yeah.
sitting around there and I was riding around with like 12 Marines. I like no, I was like it was like six, but I was running around with like six Marines and I was like, and then I flipped my thing and I got so annoyed when I flipped my thing. I was like, they not gonna get back in. They were falling in the waterfall. I was like, bro, why is there so much terrain here? And that's when I
Yeah.
really got annoyed. But yeah, I mean, I
I
liked the
do.
first two missions, and I was like, "This is cool," and I was having fun. And then when I got to the open world, it kind of lowered, it fell down. I did like three more missions, and then I was just like, this ain't gonna work for me unless there's like really something there that's changing or making it where I'm really getting more interested in the world." And you could probably speak more to it because you did more. Is there parts where you start to do things that are like cinematic, like scenes from when you're in the space and you're going into the ship? Is there anything like that on the ground as you're playing through it?
At least as far as I've gotten, not really in the open world. Like the closest you get is the actual like big base on whatever island you on, and
Mm.
there'll be a boss there, and like he'll be on the radio talking stuff, and then you'll fight the boss at the end. And like those have been good. I liked all of the boss encounters at least, but because I'm playing on heroic too.
Hmm.
But as far as like cinematic missions, I haven't gotten to one yet. I know there are more, but I feel like it's a situation where you gotta, clear out a couple areas and then, all right, now it's time to go to part two. You're gonna do like a couple, linear missions and then go get back to the open world. But yeah, I mean, like I understand, I'm enjoying it because I haven't got bored yet, but I could definitely see why it's not for everybody.
It's more so 'cause I just beat Far Cry 6, and I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
I don't really want to play it again. So that's what I was saying. I'm not saying like I don't like open world concepts. I'm saying I just did it, and I didn't expect it from Halo. So, and I read about it and I saw it, and I was like, well, maybe it's not as like familiar, and then it's like
Mhm.
completely familiar. So I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. So the when you get to the bases, you beat everything, and then you finally unlock the ability to go fight the boss. That's when I was having the most fun, like the guy with the invisible, and you had to you pull out a new. I'm assuming you get a gadget every time you fight somebody. I was with the one with the,
Yeah.
the sensor, so you can see where you're coming from. So that was a fun fight. A little difficult, but it was fun because it was still like a challenge or whatever. But once I got past that, it wasn't like no cinematic play. There wasn't like any interesting that happened. It was more so about this guy died. I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And then you took his stuff, and then you left. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like it's going to get more of that, and I was just like, I'm not ready to play it right now. I'll play it at some point, but not right now. And I know
Mhm.
he said it's like 30 hours, so I was like, no. But I think overall, Halo hit the mark for a lot of people, and that's good. Did it deserve a 9? No. Maybe Maybe a 7.5. I give it a 7.5 out of 10 because of the multiplayer. But overall, I haven't beat the story, so maybe the story goes somewhere that's maybe interesting that I'm just not seeing yet. And maybe I just watch it online because that might be the best part, the best way to kind of get the story. Because I kind of wanted to play it, but it might be something that I just don't have time to do. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, Halo. I think the last thing we want to talk about real quick, because it got to be quick, is the Matrix Awaken. Um, that was pretty amazing. Did you play it, Josh? Play it?
I downloaded it. I haven't played it, but I've seen a lot of videos and
The
stuff about it.
footage. Hey
Yeah.
man, if games can look like that soon, that'd be pretty amazing. But the world, the way it was built, being able to like, I watched the whole Digital Foundry thing, but I played it too, and I wasn't even, I when you look at something, you don't really formulate what is all it's doing, so somebody had to break it down for you. That's what Digital Foundry did for me. Basically, when I was looking at it, I was like, dang, this is tight. This is like really long and really dense areas, and you can see all the way through. I don't really see any popping. I don't see anything happening. Then they kind of start breaking it down, like why it's happening. I never knew anything about the nanonites or nanonites.
Nanite. Yeah.
Nanite. I never knew anything about that. I was like, okay, so this is a better way of streaming in data, and where it don't have to load. And I was like, oh, that is game changing. So then there was like other things where they were talking about how the file sizes. They were talking about speed. They were talking about how they switch out during collision and like how is like a problem with that. But they were just talking about all this stuff that was kind of going on with Unreal and how they were able to do like ray tracing, and it was very not very taxing, and then the super resolution and all that stuff. Um, and I feel like it's very feasible for people to do that now. So that game looked really good, especially the cutscenes mesh with the actual like world, and then when you finally get to walk around and like use the crane and kind of go through stuff and go through the buildings and kind of see everything, it was very detailed at that. So, and they said it didn't have to take that long to generate the world, which is crazy to me. It's like they was generating it like on a weekly basis or something like that. Um, but I just felt like it was a really good showcase for Unreal Engine 5. It didn't seem as static as I thought something like that would be. Like the
Hmm.
characters seemed to like they didn't seem like they were like copy and paste. Obviously there was some um, there was all pre-generated and all that stuff, and it just seemed uh like the next generation of gaming per se. I don't know. When I saw it, I thought this got to be like CGI. The first part, some of that stuff was in real time. Some of the things that they were showing in there was real time. So even like him walking around, Keanu Reeves after it cut past Morpheus and like went to back to them, that was actually a CGI character. I mean, not a CGI, but like a digital character of Keanu Reeves, and then like the whole scene of him doing the Matrix old stuff, that was all real time, and all of that stuff. It just seemed really advanced, and it was like being done and running on a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or an Xbox Series S. So it just made it seem like, yeah, games are going to look a lot prettier in 3 years. Um, and maybe when people actually start to utilize the Unreal Engine 5, I heard that there's still some issues with it or something like that, but overall, I was pretty freaking impressed. And I thought it looked pretty impressive, just from that showcase alone. I mean, obviously, I was like, okay, this finna end. This ain't nothing but a little demo, and then you got to walk around the whole place and drive around and everything. So I was like, wow, this is really actually here, and this is actually working. You can actually walk around and interact with it. So it was pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everything I've seen of it seems really good. I've I've used Unreal 5 before and tried out their other demos that they had, and this was the first one that actually seemed like even though it's still a demo, it still feels like it could be a full game.
Yeah.
The other ones were more like, this is one environment and there's like
Mm-hmm.
one enemy and stuff like that, where this really shows what they can do. So I at least even how to put it, I feel like Unreal 5 is gonna make a situation where you're gonna start wondering why more developers don't use it because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least my opinion, it's pretty easy to use as far as like what you're doing game development wise, and the
Mm-hmm.
things that you could do with it are really good. So unless you're like Guerrilla Games and you're making your own engine, it feels like where everybody should be putting their resources. At least if you're trying to like make realistic looking games. So
Yeah, I agree.
we'll see.
I think it has a lot of good features, a lot of automated features that you don't have to waste time on to kind of really create the world that you want to create. So we'll see. I think this is gonna get a lot of people talking about it. This I think this worked. I think this is a marketing scheme that truly worked in a lot of ways
Yeah,
because
and the Matrix is a good pick
yeah,
because it's
it's like that's
it
all
fits
it's
well
about.
with their yeah.
Yeah, it's what they're about, making a digital world for people to walk into, and it's like you can't tell the difference. So that is exactly what it is. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So, that's pretty much it. I mean, we talked about a lot today, so I appreciate you guys if you definitely got to the end of this at the hour and 40 mark. So I want to thank you for sticking around and listening to the House of Wolves podcast with us. Again, that's Jalen, Josh, and myself, Deontay. You can always find this on my YouTube channel at BCD Universe, as well as where you can find most podcasts because we're in we're in the what is that the internet sphere. We're there. We're where the podcast be. So thank you guys for listening. And we will talk to you guys. Or do y'all have anything else to say? Y'all good? Y'all got anything for the people
No,
before we head up out of here?
no, they got a lot of us
I'm
today.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all, as y'all heard it, they good. Y'all good. Talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.